Pacers' Tyrese Halliburton ruptured his Achilles tendon tonight in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, a definite complication of his original calf strain. Let's break this down. Keep a close eye on Hallie's right leg. He's going to plant that foot. In this position, his right foot is in a dorsiflexed position. You can imagine as he's going to push off, his calf muscles are contracting while the Achilles tendon back here is being forcibly lengthened. This is called an eccentric contraction, which causes a very high tensile stress. The foot reaches maximum dorsiflexion here with the heel touching the hardwood, and that's when we see that tendon snap. If the force exceeds the tendon's tensile capacity, especially if that tendon has pre-existing right calf strain, saw with Dame Lillard and Jason Tatum earlier, and it also is the scenario we saw with KD in Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals against the Raptors, where he attempted to play through a right calf strain. As we had just discussed, Hallie had injured that right calf, likely around the musculotendinous junction here, where muscle fibers transition into tendon fibers. This is the interface where contractile muscle tissue connects to non-contractile tendon, allowing the force generated by the muscle to be transmitted to the bone. Calf muscles are comprised of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius and the soleus. These insert into the Achilles tendon, which attach to the heel or the calcaneus bone, enabling plantar flexion, which allows for push-off. You can imagine if you already have a tear in this region, the strain compromises the muscular protection and coordination of the Achilles complex. This leads to excess tensile load on the Achilles, poor shock absorption, and asynchronous firing. Shock wave for his and speedy recovery.
What's up, sports world? Y'all know what it is. And it's Monday Night Madness. I am your guy, Andre the Torch Robinson, the fire starter in the building. You know it. Man, it's about to be a nice hour or so of phenomenal sports talk. I have Marcus the Alphabet in the building. Mr. Coffee Talk himself, Mr. Friday Night Lights, the whole 9 yards. He is in the building, my guy. What's good?
What's good, fam? How you doing? Where's Russell K's ass at? I know he wanted to come up in here and brag a little bit. Where's his ass at?
So Russell K will be here in about 5 minutes. He's
Okay.
just finishing something in the studios, but
Okay.
like and share. All right, y'all already know what it is, what time it is. All right, Monday Night Madness. We got NBA talk. Obviously, you guys watched the finals yesterday, but we got that to talk about. We got a little NFL to talk about, a little WNBA out. You know, I got to shout out the ladies. Get them, they props. I'm gonna continue to keep doing that on the platforms, making sure that we shout out these ladies too, because they're doing a phenomenal job as well. And let's talk NBA Finals. First and foremost, as we know, the Oklahoma City Thunder, shout out to them, are the 2025 NBA champions. Now, if you missed the introduction, I'm going to start off by saying it is very unfortunate. I showed you a video of how you can rupture your Achilles tendon. It is a video, so go back to the beginning if you did not see it. I might show it again in a little bit, but in fact, you know what? Maybe I'll show it again. Maybe I'll show it again how you rip your Achilles tendon. It is not something that is for the faint of heart, injury that puts plenty of people down. Plenty. There's been plenty of the best athletes, superstars that have went down from this Achilles injury. And we give all prayers to Tyrese Halliburton. And before I say any more about Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers, I once again want to shout out Oklahoma City and Thunder for winning the NBA Finals. But there is something that I saw that is very interesting, and it is up on the Rise Up Family Sports Network page. And this is the info. You can see this. There's a pattern, folks. There is a pattern. By the way, all of these injuries, Kevin Durant's injury was in the finals. Jason Tatum's torn Achilles injury was in a playoff run. Damian Lillard's calf injury, torn Achilles, was during a playoff run. Tyrese Halliburton, calf strain leads to a torn Achilles. Every single one of those torn Achilles injuries started off with a calf strain. Every single one of them started off with a calf strain and ended to a torn Achilles injury. Folks, NBA, all those strength and conditioning coaches, all those franchises, all those teams, all those management teams need to take calf strain injuries very serious. We have now a pattern. Marcus D. Alphabets, your thoughts on this pattern?
I'm going to look. I do give some of the blame to training staff and things or whatnot like that, but I got another something that people probably ain't going to want to hear. When you were growing up and you were playing basketball, what kind of shoe did you wear? What kind of shoe did you wear?
Interesting.
All of these young cats, they want to wear these low cut shoes, and you're wearing these little ballerina shoes, bro. You're 6'8" and 250 pounds, and you're trying to wear a little cutoff shoe. I think guards can get away with that, but when you're 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 7 feet tall, 250, 300 pounds. You see a guy like Zion Williamson, who's a chicken nugget away from being a offensive tackle in the NFL, out there with these little low cut shoes. I think they really need to start bringing back high top shoes. I know that that's not I didn't play basketball like that, but when I grew up, and all the basketball players, watching the players that I watched growing up, guys in my high school and college, they wore high tops. I don't like the fact that a lot of these young cats wear these little ass low cut shoes. Every basketball player I knew growing up, high school, college, professional, you looked at Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon, they wore high top shoes. Now, when you look at Halliburton yesterday, generally when you have an injury somewhere, he had the calf strain, and I think what happened with that is, I think he rushed back, and then so what happens is other parts of your foot or leg is compensating for whatever injury that you have. You're compensating for it. So I think what happened with that, he's trying to run, and your body is a straight line. And one time I was jumping out of an airplane. I was at airborne school, and one of the guys we jumped out the plane together. He hit the ground. He broke his ankle. He broke his foot. He broke his heel, his ankle, and then he shattered his knee and his hip. And that's just what it is. When one of your body parts, especially a part of your body, is straining, and you're trying to compensate, something else has to take it, has to compensate for it, and then usually that ends up getting hurt. How do you go from an Achilles, from a calf strain to tearing your Achilles? Because you're making your Achilles work harder to compensate for your calf, and then you're wearing these little ballerina shoes. So that's just my take on it. I think that they need to get back to. You see a lot of these things between football and basketball. I think when you look at the playing surfaces, and then you're looking at your footwear, with football players, they're all on this artificial turf. Basketball players with these little, these little low cut shoes. Football players too. Dude, you're a 225-pound wide receiver running back, and you're wearing these little low cut shoes. Wear high tops, or at least mid tops. I'd like to at least see, if you're not going to wear a high top, at least wear a mid top. Are you there, Torch?
In this position, Pacers Tyree.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening to you. I got you. I got something for you. You ready? I'll play it again for you guys who didn't hear it the first time. I'll play it again. We got a caller on the line too, but I will
Pacers Tyrese Halliburton ruptured his Achilles tendon tonight in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, a definite complication of his original calf strain. Let's break this down. On Hallie's right is dorsals are contracting, while the Achilles tendon back here is being forcibly lengthened. This is called an eccentric contraction, which here with the heel touching the hardwood, and that's when we see that tendon snap. If the force exceeds the tendon's tensile capacity, especially if that tendon has pre-existing degeneration, specifically a right calf strain, it ruptures. This is the same mechanism of Dame Lillard Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals against the Raptors, where he attempted to play through a right calf strain. As we had just discussed, Hallie had injured that right calf, likely around the musculotendinous junction here, where muscle fibers transition into tendon fibers. This is the interface where contractile muscle tissue connects to non-contractile tendon, allowing the force generated by the muscle to be transmitted to the bone. Calf muscles are comprised of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius and the soleus. These insert into the Achilles tendon, which attach to the heel or the calcaneus bone, enabling plantar flexion, which allows for push-off. You can imagine if you already have a tear in this region, the strain compromises the muscular protection and coordination of the Achilles complex. This leads to excess tensile load on the Achilles, poor shock absorption, and asynchronous firing, all of which increase the likelihood of an Achilles rupture. This is why
one sudden forceful movement like sprinting, jumping, or change in direction can overwhelm the compromised tendon, causing it to completely snap and rupture.
the movement we see here is a release of tension from the tendon snapping, which reverberates back up into the calf muscle, sending a sort of shockwave up through the back of the leg. Got to see, pushing him a stance recovery. It's just how ruptured his Achilles.
All right, there you have it. Full explanation on how you rupture your Achilles tendon. Again, I showed it in the intro, and I wanted to show it again just for the viewers so you guys can see firsthand from a medical standpoint what it is. Marcus pretty much was right on, spot on when he said that your Achilles gives more effort because your calf is trying to make up for your calf injuries. Pretty much said compensating for the injury. Now we do have a caller on the line. Caller, what's up?
Yeah, you were talking about the point guard that went down in the finals, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that dude, but it's called karma.
Uh-oh.
Remember he was making fun of the New York Knicks?
Oh my God. 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 Whoa. Caller. It is very interesting that you say that. Marcus, what have I said for weeks about that? Did I not mention this on the show? I mentioned it twice. Did I not mention it twice about Tyrese Halliburton doing this? And that when you do that, there's a certain thing called karma when you do stuff like that, divine intervention. When you do things like that, certain stuff catch up to you when you do stuff like that. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying that Tyrese Halliburton deserved to be injured by no means. But what I will say is, I agree. Ron, you're not the only person. Right. But Ron, you're not the only person who mentioned that. I mentioned this weeks ago. I mentioned weeks ago about Tyrese Halliburton doing this. And I said that stuff like that might come back to bite you in your ass. I mentioned it multiple times on this show. So you are not the only person who thought that. I thought that as soon as I seen
when I saw him go down, what it kind of reminded me of was years ago.
Hold on a second, caller. Hold on a second, caller. Go ahead.
But when you make fun of the New York Knicks for chucking the game away, you're not gonna be good. Stuff like this happen all the time.
Okay.
I'm not talking about towards people. You cannot act like that towards the New York Knicks and think you're gonna get away with.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, with that being said, go ahead, Marcus, real quick. Go ahead. So just
Look, I think what it was, I just think what it was he tried to rush back, and then what you really saw was once Halliburton left the game, it was like the wind just went out their sails. They went up, the the Thunder went on a they went on a roll. You have some people that are your spark plug guys. They're the ones that give your team like a boost. They're that guy that just who kind of amps everybody up. And then when that guy goes down or somebody he gets hurt or something happens to him, it takes the wind out of the sails, and that's what I saw. It was like after Halliburton went down, it wasn't even close no more. They took off from the guy is emerging as one of the better players.
After the game, he said when he went down, I didn't know how to think no more. I didn't know how to play no more. It was tough to play the game, and he went down. They tend to say that I forgot his name, the light skinned dude, the one we dunking all the time and stuff. He said that.
Yeah, it's tough.
He went down. He forgot how to play the game.
All right. So let me introduce Russell K to the show. Russell K, sports. You already know, sports media personnel from Music Dreams USA, iHeartRadio. What's up, Russell K? The guy who said that the Thunder will win. Don't think that you're gonna come on.
Guess what?
I owe him a shirt. I owe him a shirt.
Yep,
so tell me what's up.
Yeah, I figured I'd make a special appearance on the show tonight so I pick up my free stuff.
Hold on. You said, caller, you said, did I think the Pacers was going to win?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I think if Halliburton would have won that, I think that they would have won.
Thunder was going to win it.
Nah.
The Thunder should have won it the last game.
Okay, so before we get into a heated debate on who should have won the series, let's be very mindful and very clear. As someone who has played the game, and someone who has covered the game and coached it, I will tell you that is one of the cheapest ways I've seen a team win a championship in a very long time. Okay, I'll say it again for you, okay? For the caller, you can't hear. You should be able to hear me. I said that the Oklahoma City Thunder victory was probably one of the cheapest victories I've seen in a long time.
I don't know if it's more so than the bubble championship. The Lakers.
No, the Lakers won that definitively. Even though
the Lakers bubble championship.
Yeah, the bubble championship. The Lakers won that in 5 games. They shouldn't have. Again, and no. When I mean cheapest, I'm talking about a game that went down to the last game. The Lakers won the bubble championship. They were the number 1 overall team that year. They wanted to play basketball. LeBron wanted that championship so bad. Anyway, they played basketball. They won. No. But what I'm going to say is that is the cheapest way.
No.
And the reason why I say the cheapest way, you can disagree all you want. I don't care. I'm telling you that from what I saw in the first quarter, in the first 5 minutes from Tyrese Halliburton, who only averaged, let's keep it a brick. Let's stop playing games. Nah, my ass. Tyrese Halliburton was 3 of 4 from the field, 9 points. He hit 3 3-pointers in the first 5 minutes of game 7. And was, mind you, let's be clear, Tyrese Halliburton has only averaged 15 points this entire NBA Finals series. He scored 9 in 5 minutes. You're telling me the game doesn't go differently if he's playing Game 7? You're absolutely out of your mind.
Hang on a second, guys. Let's not take anything away from Oklahoma, okay? What was the score at halftime? What was the score at halftime? Indianapolis was winning that game. They were winning at halftime 48-47, correct?
All right. Hold on. Russell, hold on, Ryan.
Let me ask you this question, right? Who's winning at halftime? Who's winning at halftime? When at halftime, who's in the lead?
Indiana was up by 1 point, but here's why.
Correct.
Hold on.
Correct.
This is where somebody who's played the game and coached the game would come into play. You couldn't have thought that Indiana was supposed to sustain for 3.5 quarters the same energy and the same offensive prowess without Tyrese Halliburton on the floor. With Miles Turner. No way you could have thought that. There's no person who plays basketball who coached. Rick Carlisle even said it during the presser. He even said it during the presser. He said Tyrese Halliburton was probably the biggest injury that's happened in finals.
Yes, I don't understand. How do you think? Oh, the game is tied. That's the argument we're using.
That.
Oh, they were up by 1 point,
and then they lose.
Let me finish though. Let me finish.
They lose their best player.
So let me finish though.
Hang on. In any sport, not just basketball, you're in a close game and then you lose your best player. Come on, dude. Stop it. Come on now.
Let's be clear.
So the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs are locked in a really close football game, and Josh Allen tears his Achilles. Stop it. Come on now. Stop.
I'm not saying that injury that Indy had did not affect him. I'm not saying that.
It's
that
injury to the person.
It did affect them, right? However, you're in a championship game. That's the other players on your team needs to step up. All right, they have to step up because injuries are going to happen no matter what sport you're in, right?
Okay. And again, you're going blow for blow. You're going blow for blow with the Kansas City Chiefs. You're tied at halftime in a football game, and Josh Allen tears his Achilles. No, you got to step up, Mitch Trubisky. Stop it. Come on now. We're having a real sports conversation here. Come on now. Come on.
Hold on, hey, George, watch this. All right, Marcus, let's take a blast to the past, right? You talk about the Bills, right? What did Frank Reich do when Jim Kelly got injured? Frank Reich came in and he played a game that no one thought they were going to win. They were down big in that game, right? Frank Reich was not the starting quarterback for the Bills.
Whoa. Stop right there. First and foremost, Jim Kelly did not get injured. Jim Kelly got taken out of the game because Houston was up 35-3 on their ass. Let's be clear. Jim Kelly did not get taken out because he had an injury that was
a backup quarterback comes into play, right? And what happens? What happens?
Josh Allen can't beat. Listen, Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen can't beat Mahomes. So you're telling me you would put how much money on? Okay, Josh Allen got hurt at halftime, and Mitchell Trubisky needs to step in at halftime and take over for Josh. Stop it. Stop.
Stop it. Hold on, time out, Marcus. Here's the other thing that he is failing to realize. Football and relying on players in football is totally different from relying on players in basketball. See, basketball is only a 12-man roster. When you lose your best player, your absolute best player, you only have 1 or 2 players that play the position that person you lost plays to begin with. 1 or 2, and usually that person is a bench warmer for majority of the season, not majority of just one game. We talking about majority of the season. They haven't even played that many minutes, sir. So to think that somebody else off that roster was supposed to just step in and do what he did, what he was going to contribute, especially he was red hot in the first 5 minutes, and you're telling me that you were supposed to get that production from somebody?
Allen Iverson got hurt. Allen Iverson tears his Achilles. Eric Snow, take over and take us home. Come on, man.
Okay, but Marcus, hold on. This is where I want to get to.
Conley played for Indy, right? Conley plays for Indy, right? Correct?
No. Don't try to interrupt the thought. The thought is that Tyrese Halliburton spreads the floor. He creates more room for other players. They literally have to game plan for Tyrese Halliburton because he has 3-point range that you have to watch for, and he has speed and elusiveness going to the basket that you have to be mindful of. He literally can create off his own dribble. He can shoot long range. He can finish at the basket. And usually, if he goes to the basket, he's getting fouled. Name another player on the team that is a 3-tier scorer like Tyrese Halliburton. There isn't one that's a 3-tier scorer. So for you to say that somebody else was just supposed to step up and act like Tyrese Halliburton just didn't put on one of the greatest playoff runs in NBA history is crazy to me. You're tripping. You're absolutely bucking, bro.
Then. Are you saying that OKC did not deserve to win a championship? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not saying that, but look, there's a causality. You know, a couple of years ago when Joker was going off, he gets hurt and tears his Achilles. Are they the same team without Joker? Come on, this ain't that hard. When you lose your best player in basketball, which, you know, like Torch was saying, I was saying it even on my page, you know, it's a 12-man roster. You know, when you lose your superstar in you know, basketball, you lose an Allen Iverson, or you lose a Kobe, or you lose a LeBron, or you lose a Michael Jordan, or somebody who's like touches the ball damn near every play down the floor, and that you lose that guy, the best player on your team. And you think you're like I said, I remember a few years back, it was that undefeated Miami Hurricane team, and they were playing Ohio State. And you remember Willis McGahee got hurt? I'm going way back like 20 years. And it was like they had won like 30 straight games, and Willis McGahee tore his Achilles or something like that, and they were done. You just saw like the wind just come out of their sails. That's what when I saw that last night, that's what that reminded me of. When you saw Juju Buns go down in the playoffs in the women's tournament, when Juju Buns went down, I mean, it's just like, oh, just one of you other girls that's not an All-American. Step up, non All-American. Come on now, what are we talking about here? When Juju Buns got hurt,
let me ask you this then, all right, Marcus, let me ask you this. When we first talked about this matchup before it even started, right?
Yes.
What did we talk about? We talked about two evenly matched teams. Did we not say that live on the air?
So you're making my point for me. So when you look, when
let
those two,
let me finish though. We talked about we had two teams that are perfectly matched together, right?
Yeah.
We also talked about it was going to go down to the end. We also talked about if there's injuries, if there's anything, the other teams have to step up, right? And look what happened to Indy. Indy played OKC. They played them, you know, right to they brought them to 7 games, all right? And then the injury happened. So you can't really say that OKC was lucky to win that championship. I disagree with that. I understand what you're saying though, about the point where Indy's player, one of the most valuable players they have, right? I get that, right? But OKC was not lucky to win that division. That series. They earned that.
Okay, let's reverse it. Let's reverse it. At halftime, SGA tears his Achilles. SGA tears his Achilles. Then what?
We're not even having this conversation again. Hold on. First of all,
Marcus, this is not that hard.
What I'm saying though, OKC did not
let Russell K get away with that. No.
If SGA
did not let Russell K get away with that,
SGA tears his ACL at halftime. If SGA tears his and Tyrese Halliburton stays healthy the rest of that,
Marcus, that doesn't matter. Hold on, watch this, Marcus. Don't even let him get away with that. Hold on, Marcus. Do not let Russell K get away with that because number one,
it's time to let the torch, baby.
Hold on, I called up Maury. and I asked him to tell me what he said in the very beginning of his comment. Was it a lie or was it the truth? And Maury determined that was a lie. You didn't say nothing about these two teams being evenly matched, sir. I was the one who said that they was evenly matched. You was the one telling me that OKC was winning in 5 games. If I'm not, do not make me go get the receipt.
I told
sir.
you 6.
I got the receipt. No, you didn't. You said 5.
I told you 6.
Indiana
Me and you both said Indy and 7. That was our prediction. Indy,
yeah,
absolutely. That was our prediction. We said it. We did say it. And let's be mindful again, sir. Like Marcus mentioned, I'll give you a better one. Even if Jalen Williams would have went down with an injury from OKC, that game is totally different. And you know this. I don't know why you acting like you don't know this. Jalen Williams literally scored 25 or more, I think 2 or 3 games this series. So you telling me that if he goes down, that they're not playing them differently? Because that's what they did. OKC went in the locker room, said, okay, they up 1. They fighting. They fighting for Halliburton. We got to change our strategy. We got to intensify the defense. Look what they did in the 3rd quarter. Did you not see they just started trapping? They started trapping little. Hold on. They started trapping the smaller guards coming up the floor. When they get the ball, they get them to the sideline, start trapping them. Big bodies, put their arms up. You can't do that with Tyrese Halliburton. You can do that with what's his name? McConnell. TJ McConnell.
How tall is Halliburton? How tall is Halliburton?
About 6'4".
Halliburton is like 6'5", like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, it's just
McConnell is like 5'10", 5'11". If he's 6 foot, they probably will give him 6 foot just for shits and giggles.
But he had a hell of a game last night, though. You can't. I mean, look what McConnell did. I mean, okay.
Again, I'm not talking about having a hell of a game. I'm talking about strategy and how you game plan differently for teams. You have to game plan differently when Halliburton is on the floor. We've seen this all playoff long. You've seen it. This is why I told you. Evenly matched. I thought that Indiana would run off with it. Game 7, Halliburton is hot lava. Hot. 3 3-pointers in a row. I don't think Halliburton made 3 3-pointers one game the whole finals in an entire game. And he comes out in game 7 and in 5 minutes hits 3 3-pointers in a row. You know what type of night OKC was about to have? I'm going to be honest. He don't have a cash strain. This is why I'm saying, yes, they are very fortunate. Very fortunate. Now, however you want to slice it up. Oh, they're not fortunate. Yes, they are. They are very fortunate because all it takes is one game for somebody to get off. And it's game 7. This is game 7, go home or not. Halliburton's on fire. You ever play NBA Jam? You know when you make 3 shots in a row?
He's on fire.
Are you saying? So let's say if you didn't get hurt, okay? Let's say if Halliburton didn't get hurt, do you not think that OKC would have came up with a game plan at halftime? Right. I understand. I watched the game, right? And Halliburton, he was on fire. You're right. He knocked out those 3 putters like left and right. However, my argument would be this: let's say if he didn't get hurt, OKC would have came up with a game plan. And they would have stopped him. They're not going to let him run wild.
Okay,
you're right.
So now,
hold on.
Are you saying that OKC doesn't have the talent to stop him?
Hold on, Marcus, can I answer this?
You know what happens now? You know what happens now? You know what happens now? Whenever you start running at him, now somebody else is sitting wide open with a Robert Ory type shot.
Hold on. Ask him what happened in game 6. Ask him what happened in game 6 if he believed that. What happened in game before?
Yeah, they tried to do what I just said. Yeah, you're right. OKC tried to do that in game 6, and Indiana
blew them out the water.
That's when they had a 4-point lead. I understand.
Let's not forget that game 4, Indiana should have won game 4, and they blew game 4. Let's not forget that. You're making it seem like OKC just definitively won this series. Let's not forget that Indiana blew game 4 and could have won this shit in 6 games. It would have never even went to a 7th game if they don't blow that. And then Tyrese Halliburton blows his Achilles. And you think that Rick Carlisle wouldn't have made adjustment? They're not up by just 1 point at halftime if Halliburton's on the floor. With that first half that I saw, Indiana could have been up by 10 points in the first half.
Oh, so
there's a total difference.
You give it 10 points. All I'm saying is OKC would have made the adjustments and they would have stopped him. Yeah, you're right. In game 6, they tried to do that in game 6. It would have happened. Andy won that game. What I'm saying, though, things changed, right? I mean, you have a halftime to go in there and look and say, okay, this is what we did in game 6. Maybe we need to do something differently. And all I'm saying, though, if he was healthy, OKC would have came up with a game plan to stop him. No question about it. They're not going to let him run wild, because if they let him run wild, they ain't got a chance to win that game, right? So they're gonna.
I can't believe that.
We put pressure on him.
Let me read some of these comments real quick. I like to read the comments where
Yes, thank you. Read Marcus's comment. Read Marcus Herring.
Marcus Herring, he jumped in. Halliburton 6'5". OKC defense was amped up by the crowd as well. Pacers were up only 1 at the half because of 3-point shooting. But then I thought OKC was the better team because of SGA. But the way Halliburton was hitting, OKC would have been in trouble. Halliburton had double-digit assists before. That matters. That matters.
All that matters.
Are you saying Halliburton's a one-man show?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Who's been the most clutch player in close? No. Who's been the most clutch player in close games this playoff run? This whole playoff? Answer it. Who? What's his name? No, yeah, plead the fifth, because you know what I'm talking about.
Say my name.
I plead the fifth on that one. But we're not talking about who's the hottest player. We're talking about game 7 right now. We're talking about game 7.
Game 7 goes to the wire. I'm going to tell you right now, game 7 would have went to the wire. That thing would have been 2-3 points by the end of the game.
And I agree that, because I picked the game to be 112-110. So I agree.
I saw your score last night. You did say that.
You picked to be 112-110, right? 112-110, right? Now, I'm going to ask this a question one more time. I know you tried to plead the fifth the first time, but we're going to try to get you on the second one. Maybe we don't got to call up Maury Povich and conduct a lie detector test on you again. Who was the most clutch player in these NBA playoffs? Answer the question. I mean, you can refer back to game 1, sir. Go ahead. Who? What's his name? Say his name.
Halliburton didn't.
Oh, okay. Had a good. Let me ask y'all a question out there right now in the comment section.
Halliburton did have a good series.
I put up this thing right here. It says best playoff run, rank them 1 to 4. Guess what? I don't give a damn about the 3 of them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Curry's 2022 was the best run, if you want to be honest. But Tyrese Halliburton's 2025 to me trumps all of them. Even though he didn't win game 7 because he snapped.
No, we can't do that. You got to. It don't mean a thing if you don't get that ring. That's like saying Tom Brady was the best. That's like saying Tom Brady with the 18-1 Patriots team. No one cares. That's great. You were 18 and you lost the last game. You were the highest scoring offense ever. So we got to give him credit. Look, I can't give you that credit if you don't finish.
No. They were the best defense. You said they were one of the best defenses ever.
Okay.
Indiana was the best, highest scoring offense this year. Okay. Which once again proves my point. What did I tell you? The number was, the magic number was for the series?
7.
No, I didn't. I told you 110 was the number for the Indiana Pacers. Dude, he averaged 15 points for the whole series. You're telling me he scores 9 points in the fourth quarter and you don't see what type of night is coming up?
Yeah,
Come on, but let's stop this, bro. Halliburton might have went off for 30 the way he was playing.
And he damn sure would have been the MVP. He would have been the MVP of the finals too.
Sir, here's another comment I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make this comment too. Justice for Tyrese Halliburton for his Achilles snapping because he played through a calf injury, which I mean, you got to be a real man to play through that. We showed you the video on what happens when you do that. Yeah. So you know how bad he wanted it, right?
That reminded me of Juju Barnes, man. That reminded me of Juju Barnes.
Put some respect on Tyrese Halliburton's name as it pertains to Indiana sports. Remember last week, I said, and I asked this question off the rip, I said, who should be more revered right now in Indiana sports? Put some respect on my man's name, bro. If I hear this bullshit again about, Caitlin this and that, I'm going to be highly upset. Tyrese Halliburton, literally, and this is just my opinion, and people can not like it or like it. Tyrese Halliburton just put up one of the greatest runs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope he comes back from the injury, though.
If he pulls that off, you're probably looking at him as only behind Peyton Manning. The Indianapolis.
Bro, hold on, watch this. If Tyrese Halliburton doesn't snap that Achilles and they win Game 7, do you know how embarrassing that would have been for OKC?
Yeah. I mean,
do you know how embarrassing would have been if they would have lost without Tyrese Halliburton?
Here's the other thing too. Here's the other thing we got to look at too, man. With this being so fresh on our minds, man. This could linger on to next year. I mean, when is the last
next year? It's
I
over.
See a rematch. I can see a rematch happening.
And Achilles
when does basketball season start? Like November? When does basketball season start? Like November?
I'm telling you, he's not playing next year. He's not playing next year.
That's crazy. Like you lost him in the finals.
The season for next year too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The season for next year too.
You lost him in Game 7 of the NBA Finals in July, and the season starts back in November. Like they got, I mean, and then you see like
Hey, Marcus, I'll be honest with you. People said that this was one of the worst NBA Finals to watch.
Are you kidding me?
I disagree.
Me too.
In fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm one to say that them two teams got to run it back. I gotta see it.
They ain't gonna run it back next year.
They need to run it back.
Next year.
I mean,
they ain't running it back next year. They ain't running it back next year.
They gotta run that thing back.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be next year.
To me, the answer is Curry 2022. Stephen Curry. I don't know. I don't know what your answer is to this, but the answer to me is Stephen Curry.
I saw
because of who he did it with.
I saw the Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry and with old goofball up there by himself out there. I told you he's the guy in the boy band that thinks he's the lead singer, man.
Curry?
No.
I like Curry, man.
Old Big Gums. You know who I'm talking about. Huh? Draymond Big Gum, Draymond Big Gum Greens.
Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Big Gums. Hilarious. Now, let's talk about OKC real quick and how this even came into play. Why is it, and I have to mention this right now, why is it that Buffalo affiliated sports teams always do boneheaded shit? And when I mean boneheaded shit, I mean giving up players that end up winning championships. They've done it in every sport. And yes, I get it. This is the Clippers, but the Clippers used to be the Buffalo Braves. So they're associated and tied forever, entwined with the LA Clippers. Now, with that being said, the Buffalo Sabres have given up players. They go to other places. They win Stanley Cups. The The Buffalo Bills give up players, and then they end up winning championships with other teams. In basketball, the LA Clippers traded. Listen to this. Look at these trade details. They got Paul George and gave up SGA, Gallinari, 2021 first round, 2022 first round, 2024 first round, 2025 first round. By the way, 2022's first round ended up being Jalen Williams. 2025 first round, 2025 first round swap, and it's going to be a 2026 first round joint too for Paul George. And Paul George has been where?
Too much, man.
Where's Paul George been? What has Paul George done? This has to be the greatest trade in NBA history.
Or the worst.
Okay, see. Sam.
Yeah, I mean, look at they gave up. They gave up
This trade right here, I think saved Sam Presti. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You know what this is? This is the basketball. This is the basketball equivalent of Deshaun Watson to the Browns.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. There you go, my man Marcus.
This is the NBA equivalent of Deshaun Watson to the Browns.
And the Browns got ripped off.
Yeah.
You basically gave up Deshaun Watson for CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Joe Mixon, and Tank Dell. They really did.
Right. They really did that. They really
did that. The last place in the division.
You gave up. You gave up Deshaun Watson. You took Deshaun Watson over CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon. That's what you.
So watch this. The reason.
The other pick, Danielle Hunter, because they used one of those draft picks for Danielle Hunter too. He's like the second or third highest paid edge in the league now. So, yeah, this is going to go down.
Now hold tight. The reason why I say that this saves Sam Presti is because Sam Presti is the same guy. Remember years ago who gave away James Harden for $4 million. He's the same guy who ended up giving away Kevin Durant after not paying him the kitchen sink like he should have. He's the same player. He's the same GM that 2 years later lost Russell Westbrook after he thought that Russell Westbrook was going to be a lifer. And Russell Westbrook said, I ain't dealing with this shit either, and left. This trade,
that's got to make, I'm gonna be as an OKC, as a
and Paul George left right that year too.
As a
Westbrook. Go ahead.
That's gotta make you sick as a Oklahoma City fan. If you're Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and any of them dudes, you gotta be sick because I really thought was that 08? Was that 08?
Yeah.
I thought that team was gonna be like. And they were all like young. All of them were like young. Yeah. They were like all like 23, 24.
James Harden was the sixth man of the year. Remember James Harden?
Yeah. Serge Ibaka out there. And I was just like, man, these guys. And then they just broke up that team. You got to be. I thought that they would have won multiple championships. Multiple. And they just, you had like who was it that they Golden State? That's what they ran into, and after that, he kind of broke up the team. But I thought that that Kevin Durant OKC team was. I thought that they were going to be like an all-time like great team. Like they really missed an opportunity, and I guess it comes back. I asked a question this morning, man, just to kind of detour a little bit, man. While y'all are here, who is the? So you had Oklahoma City, who used to be the Seattle Supersonics. People forget that. They just, for a lot of people that are young out there, they don't realize that the Oklahoma City Thunder is the former Seattle Supersonics. Who is the OKC of the NFL? A team that hasn't won, that's been on the cusp, has had some great years. Is
OKC did win, so
OKC did win.
So we can't even.
I guess the one that's most recent, there's been a team that hadn't won and they finally won.
I say
was
Buffalo. I would say. I say Buffalo.
This goes to show you, man, that you have to strike while the iron's hot, because I think you have like several teams. Marcus,
hold on. Marcus, you really about to let him do this? I think, what is it today? Russell, are you trying to take Marcus' place or something? Now you're doing this one show shit.
We get family, man. We're like the three Musketeers, man. Because of Monday Night Sports Tennis, we are the three Musketeers, baby.
You ain't slick. You're not slick. Marcus, the reason why he said the Buffalo Bills is because he hoping
because they won't give him my media passes.
He's hoping that he could get a parallel universe in which the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl this year, so now they can come off the list too. He think he's so slick. Buffalo Bills is not slick, sir. You not slick, sir. You tried it. You tried it.
During the week, I saw your post, George. During the week, I saw your post about. I saw your post about the teams did not win the Super Bowl. All right, I saw that post during the week. I was actually in the studios recording. All of a sudden, I see a post. Who wrote that post? The Torch, about the teams that didn't win the Super Bowl. I like that. I did like that though. I love that post. That was good.
Oh, no. I got a better post. Marcus, watch this.
They still owe me money though.
This is another reason. Hey, this is another reason why he think he's slick. He think that the Buffalo Bills can win the Super Bowl. Mind you, OKC was young, right?
I would agree with that.
OKC, young.
And getting a great quarterback, courtesy of the Buffalo Bills.
Just look at this here. Just look at this here. Mark of the alphabet. Look at this here. Do you see this? Make sure I make it big enough. So you can see. Here we go. Do you see what I'm looking at?
A very young team.
I tell you, Russell can't think he's slick. He think because OKC was young and they won a championship, he could slide the Bills in.
Are they
the first in a decade, by the way?
Now, somebody in the comment section, who's the youngest team in the NFL right now? That makes me wonder.
The Green Bay
Packers. I don't go off the top of my.
The Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. You don't even got to think about it. It's the Packers.
Okay. I think you'd have to also probably look at a team like Houston. That's like a contend. CJ Stroud's young.
That whole team, though. Look at Buffalo. All the young people Buffalo has.
Look. I think that Will Anderson Jr. and CJ Stroud, probably their two best players, they came into the league the same year. Will Anderson Jr.
I like Ron's comment. He said that the OKC Thunder is more like the 49ers.
No, because the 49ers have the second most Super Bowls in history. No, I don't think so.
You said recently, you said a team that recently be on the cusp of winning and can't win. Well, the 49ers lost twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a team that had never won, like the Seattle Supersonics.
There's never ever won.
There's never won a super. That never have won a championship. They had been to a couple. They had been to a couple, but they had never pulled it off. They got close, All
right. Well, I guess we can say Buffalo, even though Russell K think he's slick. You're not slick, sir. You're not slick. I'm still over there. You're not slick. You got 10 players that's under 25 and under, mister.
And this is the
You
year
gotta
they
do
gotta
something.
use
You gotta do
it.
that's thing that you gotta do something. You gotta do something now, because here's the thing. You gotta start paying people. You already see James Cook. You already see James Cook getting upset. You already see James Cook getting upset.
60% of the players that's on this list is on offense too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You start getting, you start getting your running back. Your running back is upset. You got you got a first round pick. Dawson Knox. He's probably going to be getting up out of there pretty soon. Deion Dawkins is 32, 33 years old. You look up one day, you're like, damn, everybody. Josh Allen's 30 now? Just got married. He's 30.
27.
He ain't no damn 27 years.
Watch, I found out for you right now.
Josh Allen ain't no 27 years.
I'll tell you right now. Hang on. I'll tell you exactly.
Josh is 28. Josh is like 28, maybe 29.
I thought him and Patrick Mahomes were the same age. They're around. They're 29, 30 years
old. 29 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you start looking up. You're like, he been in the league. You been in the league. You came into the league at 2018. We're in 22. Year 8. You're going into year 8. Yeah, that's how fast you look up. You're like, damn. And you don't think of it like that. Like him and Lamar Jackson came into the league. At the same time, so you start looking up, and then people are like, damn, this guy here and this guy here. And you look around, and it's like, this guy here, he's getting older, and this guy, and next thing you know, it's like, the whole team is old, so you have to strike while the iron's hot. You have to, because you have the Eagles and the Chiefs up here, and you're probably on that next rung underneath the teams that haven't won a Super Bowl. But then you got guys underneath you that are trying to get to that second rung where you're at. You're trying to get to the top level with the top dogs. The third level is trying to get where you're at. So they're trying to pull you down. The Houstons, the young team, the Chargers, the Broncos, teams like that, young teams, that are on the cusp too. So you have to. With those opportunities, you look up, you're like, oh, we'll be there next year. Like Dan Marino went to one Super Bowl and never went back. He went to one Super Bowl and never went back. Couldn't get past Jim Kelly. Every year, the AFC East couldn't get past Jim Kelly. So that's what happens, man. You start looking up and time flies, and then people, then your health. To win a championship too, part of it too, we just talked about it with Halliburton. You got to be healthy too, man. You got to be a little bit lucky, with health, making trades and things like that. Your health, nobody suffers a career-ending or a season-ending injury. So it's just a tough situation, And then the thing about it is, when you come back the next year, there's no guarantee that you're going to be back the next year. Well, we were in the championship last year. Okay, this year you ain't going to the playoffs. If I would have told you San Francisco wouldn't even be in the playoffs last year, would you have believed me after just going to the Super Bowl the year before? So it's like there's nothing written in the stars that, we were in the AFC championship game last year. Okay, and you got to start all over again and work your way through. Everybody's different. So we'll see what happens. I don't know where the hell Torch went.
The other thing that gets me, Marcus, about that is Buffalo's had 8 years to try to figure out how to beat Kansas City, and they still haven't figured it out. I mean, if you think about that, how many other NFL teams would allow Bean and McDermott to still be calling the shots after 8 years of not getting where they expect?
I think part of that is because before Bean and McDermott, y'all hadn't been in the playoffs in like 18 years.
I get that, right? I get that.
So when you experience a little bit of success, when you experience some success, it's like, I would rather be in the playoffs and when we weren't in the playoffs at all, we weren't even in a conversation, and we're
complacent. They're complacent.
I would rather be. This is how some people's thinking is. I would rather be here. Think about the Bengals when Marv Lewis was there. When Marv Lewis was there, it's like they would go to the playoffs every year. This is great. This is great. We're going to the playoffs every year. We lose in the first round of the playoffs, but we're happy because some people, but it goes back to I'm a big Karate Kid fan. I love Mr. Miyagi, and he said to Daniel, son, one side of the road, you safe. Other side of the road, you safe. Stay in middle, get squished just like grape. That's what it's like when you're right there. So for me, what it seems like with the Buffalo front office is we're happy. We're in the divisional round of the playoffs. We're in the AFC Championship a couple of times.
And they're all fine.
We would rather be here. We would rather be here than be where we weren't even in the playoffs like at all. We won 5 or 6 straight AFC East championships, So you got to break out though, because then, like I said, you got people behind you. I think all the teams in the AFC West, I think, are going to be better. I think the Chargers are going to not better than I think they're going to be better. I think they're getting better, and I think they've done a lot of moves to get better. The Broncos, they had a rookie quarterback last year, and they're in the damn playoffs and played pretty damn good.
He did.
So you have to if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And then the Kansas City goes through it every year. They got their ass kicked in the Super Bowl. It's going to be interesting to see the way that they bounce back from that, because a lot of teams it's not that you lose, it's how you lose sometimes.
Right.
I don't know how they're going to be. They're stop both Bean and McDermott were rookies as well. Rookies at what? No, I'm saying now. I'm saying
coaching and GM. There were rookie coaches and GMs. Remember, they were science experiments.
I'm saying over the past couple of seasons, I feel like after the 13 seconds game, I might have been firing Sean McDermott. Because let me ask y'all this, and let's keep this a buck. Let's keep this a buck. Y'all live in Buffalo. Y'all get the vibe a little bit better because y'all live there. If your coach last year or the year before was Bill Belichick, do you lose to Kansas City in the playoffs?
I would say no.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because to me, I don't think that Sean McDermott is I think Sean McDermott is a lot like I think Sean McDermott is a lot like who's the boy in Detroit? Dan Campbell. I think he's that type of coach. I don't think he's a good X's and O's coach. You got your X's and O's coaches like the Andy Reid stuff, and then you got your guys that are
Marcus, you done started something. We got a caller on the line. You done started
I can only wait to hear this.
Okay,
Hold on.
What's up?
What's up, sir?
What's up, Marcus Herring? I hear you. I already knew
You
it
knew I
was
was
coming.
calling.
Yes, I knew it. Go ahead, Marcus.
This is what I wanted to explain was my point about Bean and McDermott being rookies. They both started from the ground floor, both of them. And Betts was right on point. And this is even on point. Bills hadn't been nowhere near the playoffs for 17 years. It was it was players on our team back then that if they weren't Buffalo Bills, they probably wouldn't have been in the league.
I understand what you're saying.
They have the growing process just like the players. They done learned the good, the bad, being included. The first couple years with KC was a better team, period. That first AFC Championship game the Bills went to, KC whooped the Bills' ass because they were a better team. Then he started then Bean was getting players to beat Kansas City. We going to get Von Miller to go get him off the ground, stuff like that. Then Cincinnati was a team that snuck up on the Bills with their physicality as far as out the AFC North. These are experiences that they've learned over the years. And as much as I love both of them,
I think they do have to win the Super Bowl within the next 2 years, or you may need to make a change.
I
disagree. I disagree.
But now you don't went through the good, you don't went through the bad, you don't figured out who you want to get, what kind of team you got. The Bills are younger, faster, more athletic on defense. They got an offense that's built around team players now, and not just saying, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball type stuff. I think they got to win it within the next 2 years.
I'm with you because I'm like you got to look at the competition too. Who do you trust more as a coach, Jim Harbaugh or Sean McDermott? Because all that Jim Harbaugh is waiting for is he's trying to put his team together. I mean, his first year with the Chargers, and they're in the playoffs. And their team, they had lost all their receivers. They're out there with Ladd McConkey as their number one. When he gets his team like the way he wants it, when he builds his team like the way he built it at Michigan or built it with the 49ers, they're going to be a totally different team. Who do you trust more as a coach, Sean Payton or Sean McDermott? These are the coaches that are coming up behind the Bills. It's like, if you don't do it now, once Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh build their teams and put their type of players on it, that's the advantage that you had against the Broncos last year. You got a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, and they're kind of putting things together. When they get their team together the way that they want their team, look out, man. Look out. So I think you're like in your window now. You lost to the Bengals. It's not. It hasn't just been you lost to Deshaun Watson. At that first playoff run, you lost to.
Wait. If we bring up Deshaun Watson, you mean that Houston playoff game where they basically cheated the Bills in front of the entire world?
Oh, we can't do this. We're going to talk about the cheating thing, or we're going to cheat.
Don't bring up the Houston game because
you got to.
In the third quarter, they blatantly took away a touchdown from the Bills who were up 16-0.
But do you see Marcus? You sound like Marcus. You sound like one of those excuse makers when your team loses. It's the referee. So you know what I heard? You know what I heard all last year, Marcus.
You get the rules wrong.
Marcus, you know what I heard all last year?
With judgment. It has nothing to do with judgment. You have to feel the kickoff. Everybody in football knows that.
Marcus, it's a pattern with the Bills, though. It's a pattern. Marcus, that's the issue with the Bills. It's always been that with the Buffalo Bills. It's wide
right. They find a way to lose.
It's the Bills. Stephen A. Smith, he likes to say it on ESPN. They find a way to. Y'all create new ways to lose games. It's the 13 seconds game.
Don't defer from what I'm asking you. Don't defer from that. Answer my question.
What's that?
What's your question?
We're not talking about a judgment call. We're talking about a call that was made in true black and white. You play running back. You turned kickoff before, haven't you?
Yes.
And the kickoff has to be, you have to feel the kickoff, correct?
Yes.
He did not feel the kickoff. He got it and threw it to the ref. He did not down the kickoff. He gave the ball up the Bills and scored. That was a touchdown. Their reply was he didn't mean to do it.
Okay, what happened in the playoffs last year? We're going over. What happened in the playoffs last year against Kansas City? You have found different ways to lose to Kansas City. That's what any team is going to say. You know what Kansas City's going to say against the Eagles? You know what the Kansas City is going to say against the Eagles? Our defense didn't perform. You got your ass kicked. You can sit up there. You can this happened.
You lost by 3 points.
I'm saying Marcus, hold on. Marcus, let me bring this out too. Marcus here. No, Marcus, let me Marcus Herring.
What's that?
Now, you know we very close to this, so I do have to ask you a question.
Talk to me.
All right. This is the same. Now, let's be mindful that this is the same Brandon Beane that went on a radio show and literally dogged out WGRZ News Radio 55 for having a conversation about wide receivers. Now, mind you, and I'm going to say this because you know this better than anybody, he would have never came on a radio show with me and Mookie Hawkins on it and ever performed the way he did, correct? And here's why.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. And I'm going to give you
speak
credit.
up a little louder so I can hear you.
All right. And you know that he would have never came on a show me and Mookie did a radio on radio. Me and Mookie radios, he would have never came on that show and did that. Because premise and receipts, right? So isn't this the same team that had Ty Johnson at wide receiver 1 during the Kansas City game? Isn't this the same? Hold on. Isn't this the same guy and the same coach who had Ray Davis catching bubble screens in the Kansas City playoff game? Isn't this the same Sean McDermott? Isn't this the same guy who allowed that? You allowed your offensive coordinator to run wild. You're the coach. You have to, as a coach, you're in the biggest game, the game that gets you to the Super Bowl. Aren't you the guy who has to put your foot down and say something about some of this stuff? Isn't this the same team that allowed Patrick Mahomes to score on the same play in the first quarter and then scored the same play in the fourth quarter? This is the same.
Now, can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer? Okay, here's my reply. Number one, how many points did the Bills score?
Not enough, because he said
now,
that.
How many points did they score? Now, we're gonna kick facts. We're not gonna go. We ain't doing emotions and all that.
No emotions. Hold on, no emotions. But isn't this the? Hold on, Marcus. I'm about to answer that question. I'm gonna answer the question. I got you. I'm gonna answer the question. This is the same Brandon Beane that went on radio and said we scored 30 points a game. And people are talking, did they score 30 points against the Chiefs?
They scored 29.
They scored 20. No, the last game.
The last game, the playoff game was 32-29. If I'm not mistaken, it was 32-29.
No, that wasn't last year. Last year was 20. I thought it was 27-24 last year.
No.
Oh no, that was the year. Okay, go ahead.
32-29.
Got you.
29.
Now,
this is my point.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about McDermott should have told Brady what he should have done. Correct? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm saying he should have stepped in.
Okay. Now here's the thing. This is the same guy. Now McDermott has been ridiculed for the years about either you give your coach, you give the OC some love, or you take it away from him. This is the same offense that scored 65 touchdowns last year. You scored 29 points in this game. And me watching the game from where I saw it and looking and going and from coaching as well, we gave up 4 plays to a quarterback that's known for running. They ran outside the team, the Bills players. The defense gave up contain on 4 specific plays. 2 plays gave up first downs. 2 plays gave up touchdowns. When they did what their job was to contain the quarterback, like they should have done, which is what Philly did because they played more of a wide 9 against them in the Super Bowl. That's how the comeback came in the second half of the game, where they finally got stops. That's how the Bills. Now when the Bills played them when they played against KC in the AFC Championship in 21, it didn't matter what the Bills did. They were just better than them. Even in the game of 13 seconds, the Bills was in the zone. They picked them apart. They ran the ball. When they went to man, they threw the ball to Tyreek Hill. He went 60. Which exposed the Bills' slow team speed on defense. Last year, the best player defensively, in my opinion, was Greg Rousseau. He specifically gave up contain on 4 specific plays that stood out in the game that gave up first downs and touchdowns.
So you're saying he was the worst player?
He did not play his best game at the most important time. And that's what I did. And if you want to check receipts, what I did say, and me and Betts talked about this, I said, in order for the Bills to win, the players have to make moment plays. You can make them all year, but you got to make it against Kansas City, and you got to make those in the playoffs.
Marcus, let me ask you this question, Marcus. I got a question for you. So during the regular season, Buffalo plays great, do they not? Would you agree with that statement? During the regular season, Buffalo plays great, right? What is the issue when they get to the playoffs, then, Marcus?
The Bills led the league in causing turnovers and scoring off those turnovers.
Right, during the regular season, right?
The season was they had too many times they did not get off the field a third down, and they were saved by turnovers, by causing them.
So why do they play so well during regular season, and then when the playoffs come around, they find a way to lose? Why is that? I mean, if you look at McDermott's record during the regular season, right?
That's what I was saying is that in the playoffs, the Bills players have to make moment plays. They're playing the moment. How many times did you see Greg Rousseau give up contain over the season?
Because they're not performing.
He didn't give up. I don't recall, and I watched the game. I still have the game recorded from 2022. I have never seen him give up contain more than 4 times in a season. He gave a contain 4 times in one game.
Well,
one game.
Also, in the playoffs, you're not.
And remember, Patrick Mahomes ran for 2 touchdowns in that game.
Well, because in the playoffs, you're not playing. You're not playing AFC East teams. That's why. That's the main reason. That's the main thing. You're not playing against Drake May. You're not playing against Zach Wilson. You're not playing against. You're not playing. You're not. When you're in the playoffs. When you're in the playoffs, you're playing against the best of the best of the best. Things that you could get away in the regular season, you're not getting away with it in the playoffs. You're not playing Drake May twice in the playoffs. You're not playing Zach Wilson or 45-year-old Aaron.
You can't lose contain. You can't lose contain in a playoff game. You can't.
Okay, but in the playoff game, you're playing against. You're not. And that's what I'm saying. In the playoffs, you're not playing against Drake May. You're playing against Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. That's the difference. That's the difference. You're playing against the best of the best of the best. Sometimes stats skew. We gave up the least amount of points. I always look at your competition. I look at a competition whenever I'm judging somebody's. So when I'm watching college football, like we were undefeated from the Mountain West. I'm like, yes, because you play in the Mountain West. I'm going to give that SEC or that Big Ten team more props that's got 2 losses than that undefeated or that 1 loss Mountain West, Conference USA team. That's the difference. When you're stepping up in competition, these guys. When Mike Tyson, I'm a big Mike Tyson fan. Mike Tyson's mowing down through people. Okay, that's great. But when you're fighting Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis, you're fighting against somebody. Look, a fight doesn't begin until there's resistance. When you're playing against somebody who we just talked about the NBA. When you're playing against somebody who's equally matched with you, when you're mowing down people, we beat this team 100-0. Yes, because you're playing scrubs. That's why people schedule scrub teams on their homecoming. So you can look good at home. You're not playing against the best of the best of the best. You're not playing against the people who's equal to you or better than you. So I think that's what it is. It's like you have to sometimes I feel like having a couple of losses in the season gets you battle hard for the playoffs. Because a lot of times you don't really learn. You don't learn nothing when you're beating somebody. You're just we beat the New York Jets 45-0. Yes, because you played the Jets. You're not playing against a team that can fight you back. So I think that's what it is. When you see some of these teams
we're absolutely on the same page. I agree with that. But beating the best in the league too.
What's that now?
Bills are the best in the league too. And you brought up something. The Bills have Baltimore right in the playoffs.
Okay, that you just said that you barely you said that you
for the last few years.
Okay, you said
obviously in Kansas City.
Kansas City. Here's the difference between Kansas City and Buffalo. Kansas City doesn't give a shit about the regular season. Kansas City, like I think Kansas City, they get bored, and they're Kansas City's like the way that the way that Golden State used to be. We'll take our 3 or 4, 10, 15 losses, and let's just get to the playoffs. They don't care. Y'all be playing like that's the biggest game of the year. And Kansas City's like, we just want to get through this season healthy, and then the playoffs, we're gonna kick everybody's ass. So to me, I think it's a different mentality.
They were like that in the early season. They were like that when Tariq Hill was all of them there. I agree. They was like that. They're not like that anymore. They're not nearly that good. They're probably not, especially roster-wise. They probably don't have the best roster in their own division.
They might not. That's what I'm saying, and that's where the coaching comes in. Who do you trust more? Even with a depleted roster, who do you trust more, Andy Reid or Sean McDermott? And that's what I'm saying. Also, with some of the other teams, who do you trust more, Jim Harbaugh or Sean McDermott? Who do you trust?
Is the standard in the league right now, and that shouldn't be hard to debate. Andy Reid is definitely the standard right now. Andy Reid had to go through Philly to be where he's at right now.
I agree.
Harbaugh with the Ravens, people keep giving him a pass. Yes, he won a Super Bowl back whenever and all of that. I get that. Recently, he's been getting passes, but Baltimore been getting bounced out the playoffs by the Bills.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I'm just saying. I think that there's coaches that.
Tomlin gives up 30 points a game in the playoffs.
Okay, but again, if you're gonna go that route, you lost to Zach Taylor in the playoffs, where Josh Allen didn't throw a touchdown pass at home. So what I'm saying, the Cincinnati game, where Josh Allen didn't throw a touchdown pass.
Listen, the Cincinnati game was the worst game they played. And I'm not going to get on here and speak on what happened for that game. If people know, they know. They're not going to hear from me online, but that was obviously their worst game. And what happened the night before absolutely contributed, but that was the worst playoff game they've had in this whole run by the Bills now.
Yeah.
How about the Miami game against Skyler? Against Skyler, what's his name? Skyler. That was
Skyler Thompson. And if you remember that game, the Bills had 3 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
And turnovers are the biggest equalizer in football. Yeah. And despite the fact that the Bills gave them 3 extra possessions, the Bills still won.
Yeah, yo, Marcus.
If they don't get a ball up 3 times, that game is not even close.
Hey, Marcus.
But they did, and they won it out. Go ahead, Troy.
We ain't gonna speak about the night before the Cincinnati game.
I'm not gonna speak about the night before the Cincinnati playoff game.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Because you know that I know that you know that I know. That is hilarious.
We gonna
leave it right there with
alleyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going to leave it right there. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, leave it right there.
Terrible. Just good and terrible. That's all I'm going to say. Good and terrible. All right. Now, to end the show.
End the show. We're just starting.
Time
to go. Time to end the show. 11:30. Yep. I got to go. But nevertheless, I'm super happy because some things is changing. I'm happy about some things. So I'll explain that after we talk about the most depressing stretch of the year for sports fans right now. 73 days into the NFL season, 106 days until hockey returns, 120 days until basketball comes back. Lord have mercy. We got baseball, and baseball.
Hey, we gotta talk about the Bisons, man.
You're missing one, George. You're missing one.
We'll go.
You're missing one.
You better not say nothing goofy.
The hot dog
NASCAR.
contest on the 4th of July. What are you talking about?
I cannot. I knew he was going to say something goofy.
The hot dog eating contest, man. Competitive eating, bro.
What about NASCAR?
Ain't nobody doing no glizzy.
What about NASCAR, Torch?
You can't name 5 NASCAR racers right now. This ain't back then when you had Mario Andretti and the rest of the crew. This ain't when you had Kyle Busch. Yes, he did. He brought up hot dog eating contest.
Nathan's hot dog eating contest on 4th of July, man. That's an American tradition, man. What are y'all talking about? Y'all better give them hot dogs.
No more, because Joey Chestnut he's been banned.
Competitive eating is a sport. Y'all better give them their props.
Hey, Joey Chestnut's not even allowed that no more.
Competitive eaters. Y'all are not going to sit up here and disrespect the competitive eaters.
That needs to be at the Bills Texans game. Can you do that?
Say what now?
Oh.
What did he say?
Can you be at the Bills Texans game?
I'm not hearing y'all with the hot dog eating contest.
Right. I'm not either. The Bills.
I might. Marcus, what I want you to do, I'm trying to organize something for the draft next year, man. I need you to be in Pittsburgh next year for the draft. You think you can do that?
I might make that one. Depending on what's going on, I might be in Pittsburgh in but a couple hours. But I'm going to
be there.
I'm trying to organize. If everybody out there that's listening, Pittsburgh, April 2026. That's my birthday weekend, man. I'm trying to Alphabets football show. I'm trying to do like a live show over there, man. Make sure y'all come out, man. That's going to be fire, man. That's fire started. That's some fire starting right there. We're gonna have a good old time. We're gonna have a whole little segment. We're gonna be acting a straight ass. I'm telling y'all, man. So that's what I'm trying to organize that.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that I already booked mine to Pittsburgh. So mine is already booked. I told you I got some stuff with them.
April 2026. And it seems like it's a long ways away. What's this? We're 10 months away. 10 months sounds.
I'm there, Marcus. I'm there. You mark me down.
For sure, man.
I am there.
We'll see what happens, man. We're about to get ready to get up out of here. I see Torch got his lemonade, man.
All right, y'all. There's a couple things I need to announce real quick. By the way, for those in the 716 region, August 16th, I am doing a sickle cell awareness party. It will be at Ying's. August 16th, we are doing a sickle cell awareness event. Shout out to Juanita McClain. Shout out to her. Sickle Cell Warriors. We're going to be doing that. I am also working with Mental Health, the Mental Health Foundation. We're going to be doing a mental health event coming up. Yes, Rise Up Family is getting back to community work too. We've been kind of distracted because, schedules be a little different. But now that the schedules is starting to brighten up and look up the power, finally, we're going to be doing that. All right. Got that going on. I also will be at the NHL draft coming up. Marcus, the Bills Stadium is hosting that. Marcus hearing?
What's that? I can't hear you, sir.
I said the Bills Stadium is hosting an NHL draft session. It's not in Buffalo, but the Sabres will be at the Bills Stadium for the NHL draft when they make their selections.
Yes, I heard about the draft. The draft in here.
Yeah, so technically the draft will be in Los Angeles, but the Sabres will be in One Bills Drive for the last season. By the way, this is the last season. For those who don't know, you know now and should know that this is the last season that the Bills will be playing at the Ralph. So I call it the Ralph. But
of
yes,
course you do.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're telling your age, baby. That's all it is. Telling your age.
Telling the age. But Highmark Stadium, yes, it will be the last year at Highmark Stadium. I don't know. Did they come up with a new name for the new stadium yet?
Not as far as I heard.
They're keeping the same at
But
Highmark
that's
Stadium.
why
They're keeping the
They
same.
selling all them seats out, so ain't no selling now.
Okay. So, Russell K., what did you say?
They're going to keep the name the same. So it's going to be Highmark Stadium. They're not changing the name. So Highmark Stadium is already, that's what's going to be called.
Okay. Awesome. NHL. Oh, yeah. The Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. We know that. What else? What else went down in sports real quick that I can announce?
Kevin Durant to the Rockets.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Durant went to the Rockets. Lord have mercy. He went to the Rockets. All right.
Antonio Brown done fled the country.
Hey, Torch, we got to talk about the Bisons, man, because we covered I covered the Bisons for Rise Up Family Sports.
The Bisons suck. The Bisons suck.
I'm just like, I'm just like blown away with the Bisons. I mean, they have a part of the season where they're doing really well. Then they get in these really long losing streaks, and then before you know it, the season's over.
Look better than their game. They had to look better than their game, by the way. They had to be looking better than how they play. I give you that.
I mean that I don't know, man. It's like that every year with Buffalo, the Bisons. They play good and they get those long losing streaks, and next thing you know, it's like the season's over and they're too far behind.
Yeah, I would like to see what happens this year in the draft.
For
Marcus
Toronto,
Herring, how long do you think the GM for the Sabres will be the GM?
Not long.
Boy. Oh boy.
Kevin Adams.
I want the Sabres to do well so bad, bro. That's just it's hot. The thing with the NHL, it seems like 90% of the league goes to the playoffs, and the Sabres still can't go to the playoffs.
That's hilarious. That's a good one.
Man, that's bad, bro. That's bad, man.
That's a good
and I've been to a couple games. Games is fire, dude. Games is fire. But they got I don't know what they need to do.
The Bandits game is better though. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
The Bandits games be more.
He got a lot of work to do. Whoever the GM is, he got work to do. I don't know where you start. And I've talked to some favorite players, former dudes and all of that. They all got different opinions on what they need to do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And there's rumors now that JJ Peterka, Byron Bynum, and others may be getting traded next week. Samuelson may be getting traded next week.
I can only imagine.
Kind of weird. I don't understand I didn't understand the Dylan Cousins thing when I asked the coach this before it happened weeks before, and then he got traded. He told me, "Oh, they weren't thinking about Dylan Cousins getting traded," and then they traded him a week and a half later. I don't know why they want to trade JJ Peterka. JJ Peterka has been pretty good for the most part. I just don't see it. I could see him going to another team and winning the Stanley Cup, just like Sam Reinhart. Lord have mercy. Sam Reinhart scored 4 goals in the game clinching victory for the Florida Panthers. 4 goals in a game.
And all of these dudes was here.
And they were here. And they were here.
Yeah.
And they're gone. Kevin Adams need to be fired today. I don't even know why they're going on with him. I ain't gonna hold you. I mean, all the players they've given up and that have won championships after leaving here, yeah. There's a long list, by the way. A very long list.
Well, look at Buffalo as a farm team. Buffalo's a farm team where they actually,
They've had 4 different coaches under his regime, too.
How long does Lindy Ruff last, you think?
I don't know. I would have said Lindy Ruff might have made the playoffs this year if they added a couple pieces, but from the fact that now I'm seeing them trading even more pieces off, gives me cause for pause.
They showed that they picked talent because the talent is showing everywhere else except here. But now that makes you wonder: is it the coaching? Is it the strategy? Is it the culture here?
I think it's the culture, which is the reason why the GM got to go. I can't blame coaches when you've had 4 different coaches.
Whenever somebody bringing in here as far as coaching is obviously not working.
Yeah, you brung Beisma here, you brung Housley, then you had Donnie, and now you got Lindy back again.
Second time.
A second term.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. All right. Yeah. All right. Everyone be safe. Everybody be safe. I don't want to turn this into coffee talk because that's Marcus's thing, coffee talk. But I pray for the safety of everybody around because we know what just recently took place. I ain't going to even get into that conversation, but I will say everybody be safe. Be safe. All right. Hope to see y'all Thursday.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Everybody have a good one. I'm turning in myself.
Thank you, Marcus, for calling.
Have a good one, man. Appreciate you, fam.
Always.
Take care.
All right. Take it easy, y'all. We'll see y'all. It should be Thursday. Should be. We'll see.
Let me know what size shirt you need and what color you need, and I'll get you your shirt to you, sir. Man. Good win, man. Congratulations on the win. I have to sit one out.
Congratulations. Yeah, what do I owe you exactly?
I owe him a shirt.
I forgot, man.
I told him I would send him a. I told him I would send him a. I told him I would send him. I told him I would send him a Buffalo Bills colored Rise Up family shirt.
Hey, Torch, you know what
I think I owe you beer. I think I owe you beer.
All right, the next time I'm up in Buffalo, I'll stop by and see you at the at your place, and we'll do some beers, man.
Send me. Tell me what. I'm gonna make it in Buffalo Bills color. Just tell me what size you need and send me your address, and I'll get it to you in the next. A large one? Okay, I got you. I can make that happen.
With that being said on bets, no pun intended. I can't wait till the football season starts. Bets, we got bets this year.
Let's go, baby. I can't wait either.
I can't wait. We got
that's when we shine, man.
I can't wait till you have to pay up.
Let's go.
I can't wait. Bets is paying up this year. He said the Chicago Bears. He said the Chicago Bears. Listen.
You better show old Caleb Williams and his painted fingernail some respect. You better stop disrespecting Caleb Williams.
There's a word called forfeiture. You might as well go ahead and forfeit. Give up the forfeiture now, because you know what? If you think that the Chicago Bears is making some impact, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got some beachfront property to sell you. I got some beachfront property to sell you. I tell you. All right, y'all. Let me stop messing with y'all. See y'all later. All right. See you later. Marcus Betts, thank you again. Russell K, thank you again. It's been real. It's been fun.
We'll do it again, brother.
Nah, and that's why the Bears ain't gonna win, because Marcus the Alphabets don't know when to finish damn slogans that he done said 1,000 times over. He don't know how to finish a damn slogan.
It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be fun.
Until the next time we bet on something. The next time we bet on something. Have a great evening.
Thank you.